the young, and the restless. Spoilers full. Oh my God, besties. Welcome back to the channel. It is literally just a random Thursday, but I am vibrating at a frequency that could shatter glass right now. Grab your iced coffees, lock your doors, and strap in because we are going entirely off the rails today. You guys, I am deceased. Send help. My soul has actually left my body and is currently floating somewhere above my ceiling fan. Stop what you are doing right now. I am literally shaking. Wait, we need to talk about this now because I am genuinely hyperventilating. I was mid-skincare routine, literally had this thick black charcoal mask slathered all over my face, and when this scene dropped, I gasped so hard I choked on my own spit, tripped over my ring light cord, and smeared charcoal mask all over my pristine cream-colored rug. I literally had to yeet my phone across the room because the sheer, unadulterated audacity of what I just witnessed was too much for my fragile human psyche to handle. Besties, I am not okay. I am physically unwell. They are officially on my do not perceive list. I am so done. Okay. Wait, my brain is buffering. Okay. Back to the main event. We need to dissect this tea with absolute cinematic mayhem because the stakes are astronomical and I am personally victimized by Nick Newman. Let's set the scene. So Phyllis and Nick finally come face to face after the absolute dumpster fire that was Las Vegas. Let's unpack the deep, dark psychology of this exact moment because it is giving me literal hives. You have to understand the history here. Phyllis and Nick have this insanely toxic, magnetic, drawn to each other like moths to a flame dynamic that spans literally decades. They have loved each other, destroyed each other, married each other, and ruined each other's lives more times than I can count. So when Phyllis sees Nick recovering from a literal drug overdose that almost sent him to the pearly gates, there is genuine, raw human emotion there. She isn't just looking at a business rival. She is looking at a man she has a massive, complicated history with. The aesthetic of the scene was so intense. Too like the lighting was all moody and dramatic, casting these crazy shadows on Nick's face, making him look like this tragic, broken hero. And Phyllis? Phyllis looked exhausted but triumphant. She had that I just survived a war messy hair, which, by the way, I am totally trying to recreate tomorrow, but that's beside the point. The point is, the emotional stakes were already through the roof before a single word was even spoken. Phyllis is literally exhaling this massive sigh of relief. She is looking at Nick like, oh, thank God, you are breathing, you are vertical, you are not a chalk outline. Because let's not forget, Nick was straight up doing fentanyl and cocaine, hallucinating Matt Clark in the middle of the road, and crashed his car into a ravine. Nick was knocking on death's door, and Phyllis, our chaotic, unhinged, but ultimately fiercely protective queen, literally saved his life. She saved his life. Did I say that yet? Ugh, my brain is mush. Moving on, but seriously, she pulled him back from the brink when he was overdosing. Nick starts off the conversation acting all grateful. He's looking at her with those puppy dog Newman eyes, being all, thank you, Phyllis. I owe you my life. I'm so grateful you saved me. And for like 2.5 seconds, I was like, oh, maybe there is hope for them. Maybe Nick is finally recognizing Phyllis's worth. H.A. Ha ha ha. Oh, besties, how naive I was. I'm literally laughing like a maniac in my kitchen right now just thinking about it. Because right after he says thank you, Nick straight up flips a switch. He looks her dead in the eye and basically says, yeah, thanks for the life-saving intervention or whatever, but just so we're clear, you are not keeping Newman Enterprises. I am glitching. I am literally glitching. I had to pause the TV and scream into a throw pillow the absolute nerve, the unmitigated gall, the sheer, unadulterated Newman privilege of it all. Vesty, be for real right now. You were literally foaming at the mouth in a rundown Vegas storage unit, and this woman swoops in, saves your life, and your first order of business is to snatch her company back. It's giving major, I cannot even, energy. I am personally offended. I am living for the drama, but I am also ready to throw hands. I genuinely need to pause and talk about the sheer entitlement radiating off Nick Newman in this scene. Like we always talk about Victor being the ruthless one, the puppet master, the man who will step on anyone's neck to get what he wants. But Nick always parades around with this holier-than-thou moral compass. I'm the good Newman energy, which is honestly so unhinged when you realize he is acting exactly like his father right now. Did I say that yet? Seriously, the apple did not fall far from the tree. It literally hit every branch on the way down and landed squarely in Victor's shadow. Nick is using the exact same manipulative, cold-blooded tactics that he claims to despise in his dad. It's giving major hypocrite of the century vibes. I was sitting there staring at my TV, physically gripping my iced coffee so hard the plastic cup cracked, just reeling from the hypocrisy. How do you look at the woman who just dragged you away from the Reaper and say, cool, thanks, now give me my daddy's company back? Bestie, I am spiraling. Wait, backtrack for a second, I missed a step. I should have mentioned this earlier, but Phyllis and Nick literally had a deal, a blood pact, an agreement. Phyllis immediately fires back, and she is matching my energy perfectly. She points out the glaringly obvious fact that Nick explicitly promised her that he would drop the bogus charges against her and let her continue running Newman Enterprises if she handed over Matt Clark. Which she did. She literally kidnapped Matt, tied him up in a dark basement, dealt with Sienna Bacall jumping out of the shadows and bashing her over the head, which is honestly so unhinged, like Sienna is terrifying. But that's a tangent for another day, and she delivered Matt on a silver platter. She fulfilled her end of the bargain. But Nick? Oh, Nick has a new plan. And don't even get me started on the vibes of this new plan, because it is straight up diabolical. Nick looks at her, completely stone-faced, and proposes this new strategy where he will take Phyllis down for harboring a fugitive if he has to. Send help. I am clutching my chest. He is threatening to throw the woman who just saved his life into a jail cell for harboring a criminal. The betrayal, it feels like a physical punch to the gut. I am narrating this chaos like a high-octane psychological masterpiece, because that is what it is. Nick is playing 4D chess with a woman who just saved his life. Phyllis, naturally, loses her absolute mind, and I am right there with her, screaming at the screen. She claps back with the most valid point in the history of daytime television. The Newmans harbored him first. Like, hello? Victor Newman literally had Matt Clark stashed away, manipulating the entire timeline, playing God with everyone's lives. The Newmans are the kings and queens of harboring fugitives, hiding evidence, and rewriting the law. Phyllis is just screaming pointing out the massive, glaring hypocrisy of the entire Newman family tree. And you know what Nick's defense is? You know what this absolute clown says to justify his threat? We didn't pay for his hotel room. I'm sorry. What? Wait, do you guys hear that weird buzzing noise in my background? Is that my fridge? Or is it just the sound of my last remaining brain cell short-circuiting from this plot line? Ignore it. Anyway, back to the hotel room defense. I need to dissect this because it is genuinely the most pathetic excuse I have ever heard in my entire life. Let's look at the facts. Matt Clark is a menace. He is a supervillain. He is currently faking amnesia, which, by the way, I am totally not buying. The man is a sociopath and is playing everyone like a fiddle. The Newmans literally kept this man hidden. Victor Newman orchestrated a whole shadow operation to keep Matt off the grid to protect his own interests, completely disregarding the safety of everyone. But because Victor has unlimited offshore accounts and probably used some shell corporation to fund Matt's existence, Nick thinks they are morally and legally in the clear, while Phyllis, who is acting out of pure, unadulterated desperation to clear her own name, is somehow the criminal mastermind because she put a Vegas motel on her credit card. I am literally hyperventilating right now. The double standards are so loud they are deafening. It is a master class in gaslighting, and Nick is the professor. Nick then doubles down. He straight up threatens to call the Las Vegas Police Department right then and there and tip them off that Phyllis was intentionally committing a felony by hiding Matt. He is weaponizing her desperate attempt to clear her name against her. And this is the moment, besties. This is the cinematic crescendo. And you can just see the exact moment Phyllis's heart shatters and then instantly hardens into pure ice. The micro expressions on her face, give her the Emmy right now. Give her all the awards. You see the disbelief, then the hurt, and then the absolute unbridled fury. She erupts. She goes nuclear. She starts screaming at the top of her lungs about how she saved his life. She is pacing the room. Her eyes are wild. She is practically spitting fire, and she is just raging at the monumental, cosmic level betrayal she is experiencing. She is looking at Nick like she doesn't even know who he is anymore. And honestly, neither do I. I need to talk about how this specific betrayal personally attacked my soul. Like I have been rooting for Phyllis to get a win, just one win. She has been dragged through the mud, framed by AI evidence, which, oh my God, don't even get me started on the AI email framing plotline. That was a whole other level of dystopian nightmare that almost sent Christine to prison. Phyllis survived that. She survived Sienna Bacall bashing her skull in. She survived the absolute terror of tracking down Matt Clark, and she did it all while the entire town of Genoa City was treating her like a pariah. And the one time she actually does something objectively heroic, saving Nick's life from a literal drug overdose, she is punished for it. It makes me want to scream into the void. It's giving no good deed goes unpunished, but on steroids. And think about how this is going to affect everyone else. What is Summer going to do when she finds out Nick threatened her mother with prison time? What is Victor going to say when he realizes Nick is using his own ruthless tactics? Actually, Victor will probably be proud, which is even more sickening. I am physically vibrating from the sheer audacity of this world-shattering saga. I am going to need 3 to 5 business days to recover from this scene alone. I am literally going to be thinking about this while I'm trying to sleep tonight, just staring at my ceiling, whispering he didn't pay for the hotel room like an absolute lunatic. I am calling it right now. Phyllis's villain arc is about to go nuclear, manifesting a total dumpster fire by the next update. She is not going to take this lying down. You do not threaten Phyllis Summers with prison time after she saves you from a drug-induced grave and expect her to just hand over the keys to Newman Enterprises. She is going to burn his entire life to the ground, and honestly, I will be front row with popcorn. Until next time, besties, stay unhinged.